Hey there everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today we're going to be doing a field test and overview on the Tops Knives HOG 4.5. This is new for 2014 and we're going to go ahead and get out here, thrash on this thing today, see if this is worth a purchase for you, and talk a little bit about the history of how the HOG 4.5 came into existence. But I believe that you're really going to enjoy, if you're looking for a smaller, kind of do everything knife, I think this might be right up your alley. So let's go ahead, I'll give you some basic specs, talk about the history of how this knife came into being, and then we'll begin to thrash on the HOG 4.5 from Tops. All right, let's talk about the basic specs and the designer of the HOG 4.5. HOG stands for Hunter of Gunmen. That's what it stands for. And it was designed by Dave Williams, or Dave Norseman Williams was his call sign. He was a Marine scout sniper for years, so he knows a thing or two about hunting gunmen, to be sure. And he designed this knife over a long period of time, and we'll talk a little bit more about the handle and how he came up with the handle a little bit later in the video and stuff. But Dave really was looking for a great knife that he wasn't really able to find on the market that was strong and durable enough to take a lot of hard abuse, be able to be used in a lot of survival situations, but also to be used as a tactical knife. So that's kind of what Dave was thinking about when he designed this knife, and finally partnered with Tops recently, and then they've produced it here in 2014. The HOG 4.5, the Hunter of Gunmen 4.5 knife. So the basic specs for you before we jump in there and begin to thrash on this baby are that the entire blade length from the tip to the handle scales is 4.75, and then the actual cutting edge is 4.4, which is a great size for not only most utility bush tasks, but also for tactical use. I'm finding as I talk to operators who are going over there to Afghanistan, Iraq, and overseas, they're really looking for kind of that 4.5 inch to 5 inch size blade that's really quick and fast in hand, and that's exactly what the HOG is, weighing in at 8.5 ounces, and then with the sheath it's 12.5 ounces, so that's a great carry weight. It is 1095 high carbon steel, Rockwell hardness 56 to 58, great heat treatment Tops does over there. This thing will hold its edge forever, and it is razor sharp. It is 3/16 of an inch thick, full tank construction, like I said, micarta handle scales, and that low traction coating that they put on the 1095 to keep it from rusting, and just an overall fantastic blade design with that kind of modified, not quite a spear point, kind of a modified drop point, spear point. So it's going to give you great penetrating power, for a stab, but also going to give you great belly for some slicing capability. Almost a full flat grind. You can see there just a little bit, so it makes it kind of a modified full flat into a saber grind right there, and that's great for clamping on a Lansky sharpener or an Edge Pro Apex sharpener. So just a fantastic overall design. Let's go ahead and get out there and begin to thrash on the HOG 4.5. You can see how easy it is for me with this knife. Get those real nice thin shavings to help with starting a fire if I had to. Very comfortable, very easy, even though it's 3/16 of an inch thick, which is pretty thick. Man, this blade slices. Oh yeah, look at that. Real nice thin shavings done with this HOG. And the handle's very, very comfortable. It's feeling really good in my hand, no hot spots. Dave did a great job, really just kind of, cutting it to a type of design that just feels really comfortable in your hand. It doesn't fatigue it. No jimping to really bite into your hand if you're using bare hands, you don't have gloves on, but nice and thick enough to give me that really nice flat platform there to get a really good push cut. You can see, even with this reverse grip, this chest pull, which is great, particularly if you're around a campsite or if you're cutting for hours on end, and your forearm starts to fatigue, this is a great way to get your cutting done. The handle, as well as the blade design and geometry, feel great. This kind of hook back here that goes into the really large lanyard hole cups the back of my palm real nice right in there, and just gives me really good leverage against the blade and against my chest to get that reverse cutting done. Feels very comfortable in my hand right here. I can kind of get my thumb right over that handle scale, get that really good leverage that you need with a chest pull to get a really good full slice done with this HOG. All right, let's go ahead and do some rope cutting with the HOG 4.5 and see how it does here. We've already done a lot, so I know exactly what it's going to do with that full flat grind, that awesome razor sharp 1095. I mean, it just flies through this heavy duty nylon rope like it was nothing, like it wasn't even there. So I mean, this is going to do a great job against, you know, your seat belts, against paracord, you know, if you're hanging up in a tree or you're just, you know, prepping your campsite, whatever. However, I mean, this is going to do a great job. We'll even do a double run here and just fly through there. No need for serrations on a model with this type of blade geometry and just quality on the edge. So great cutter of man-made materials, the Tops HOG. When Dave designed this knife, you know, he designed it to be a survival and a last-ditch fighting knife if you had to. And you can see as I'm doing the stabbing, great penetration with that slight drop point, almost into a spear point design. I'm getting a really, really good, almost an 1.5 inch penetration there on that tip. Really good, strong tip. I'm not worried about it breaking or snapping on me. And I got good traction along here with this nice finger guard right there. I'm not wanting to slide down. It is somewhat smooth. There is no jimping back here, so there are knives with better traction out there on the market that will absolutely keep you from sliding down and hurting yourself if you are using it, you know, in a life and death situation, just having to stab some guy, you know, to defend your life. But for the task that this is designed for, is fighting and a survival knife, you know, a bush knife, I think it combines those two capabilities well. Not amazingly well, not an amazing, you know, fighter like a K-bar fighting utility knife, you know, or an Ontario SP42 in that design, but it feels really good, and I got good traction with this HOG, and you could definitely stick a guy if you had to. All right, let's talk about the handle here on the HOG 4.5. Now, from everything that I've read of what Dave did, is that he took a wooden knife, basically a piece of wood, he carved it into kind of the form of a knife, and over a lot of years just worked on that handle and just came up with a very ergonomic handle for him. Now that doesn't mean just because it's ergonomic and, you know, fits Dave's needs, doesn't mean it's going to fit everyone's needs. But I think that this is one of, not the, but one of the most ergonomic handles I've used in a long time. It's really comfortable. I like how thin it is with those micarta handle scales. Very nice. Got a little bit of grooving, kind of hills over the bolts, and then kind of cuts in a little bit on either side here, so it fits your hand really, really well. You know, the handle scales aren't too thick, they're not blocky or square like, say, an SE4 or an SE Laser Strike. I mean, these handles are 10 times better than either of those knives, just in how ergonomic they are. You got those white little liners right there, just kind of give it a little bit of a pop. You can see I wear large size gloves, fits my hand well. Got a little bit of room to spare back here near the big ring. Very nice, comfortable, and regardless if you're holding it, you know, in that chest grip that we've seen, you know, or you're just doing a push cut, or you are needing the traction, you know, to do a stab, that handle is really well designed. Again, it's not mind-blowing, but he spent a lot of time trying to make a very ergonomic handle. I would say the Tops Bob, you know, we'll throw that in kind of in the comparison here near the end of the video, is close in comparison to the handle, you know, comfortability. This one is slightly, very, very, just a hair more comfortable, but a very ergonomic handle, and I wanted to give some good, you know, time talking about this handle because Dave, I know, spent years crafting a very ergonomic, comfortable handle that will give you enough traction to stab, but give you that comfortability for long extended carving and cutting capabilities. Okay, so this knife doesn't have a lot of blade length to be able to, you know, span a lot of wood to baton and split it, but if you have to, it's 3/16 of an inch thick, and you can get that work done to get that smaller kindling, you know, if the wood's wet around you and you got to get to that drier core, or you just need that tender size because everything else is fresh around you, you know, whatever the reason. This knife is strong enough to be able to do it, and you know, this piece of wood's probably 2.5 inches in diameter, pretty dried out. I mean, you're not going to be going through, you know, like hickory doing this with this knife, but that tip is definitely strong enough. The 3/16 of an inch thick, you'll be able to split some of that wood into smaller pieces for your fire to get the fire going if you have to in a situation that you'd rather not be in. And with that full tank construction, makes it very strong, durable, You're not going to worry about breaking the handle scales off or something like that. Very easy to do some light batoning with the HOG 4.5. You can see I'm doing that pinky lanyard with that huge hole that they've designed for you. I just do a little piece of paracord, run my pinky through there. My other 3 fingers and my thumb can grab that back end. Feels comfortable, doesn't really want to fly out of my hand, but again, at 8.5 ounces, it's just not going to be a good chopper for you. It'll do this light stuff, but no, this isn't your BK2 or a BK9 or something like that. Okay, so here's the sheath on the HOG 4.5 on me. Again, very similar to a lot of other tops, nylon sheaths. You can see there, again, it's really nice and secure. The problem is that if I'm going to use the flap and keep it secure, I'm constantly having to open the flap, mess around with the Velcro, and pull it out. And then if you want to take the flap off, all you do, again, is pull that Velcro out. There you go. Now it's just, a normal design sheath, but again, the problem is that the Velcro in the strap is really high, so the knife just rides around like crazy. Even when I really try to keep that nice and snug, I would never go on a hiking trip with this, because if I were to sit down, look at this, whoosh, blade comes out, I could cut myself, or the knife could easily fall out. So if you're going to wear it on your hip like this, you basically have to deal with that flap, and it can kind of get cumbersome and annoying if you're putting it in and out of your sheath. And it would be really good if Tops were to offer either this for the military guys, this type of sheath, or a Kydex one for us who aren't in the military and would prefer to carry it and just have really easy access and aren't jumping out of planes with the HOG 4.5. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up this review on the HOG 4.5 by talking about some competitive options out there. First, I want to talk about the SE. You've heard me talk about SE knives. We've done a review on them. SE knives are great. I think they're my favorite, next to Tops. Tops makes some amazing knives, so does SE. We've previously reviewed the SE4 and the SE Laser Strike. I would take the HOG 4.5 over the SE4 any day of the week. The handle ergonomics are just fantastic and much better design than on the SE4. The SE Laser Strike is almost, in some ways, a mirror image of the HOG 4.5, except that it has the finger choil, and which I'm not a really big fan of finger choils unless the knife is pushing over 6 inches on the blade. Then a finger choil becomes useful. When a knife of this size, or like the size of the Laser Strike, sure, it's all right, but I'd prefer just to have it in this design like the HOG, with no finger choil. And again, the HOG is going to have a much more ergonomic handle than the SE Laser Strike. The SE Laser Strike will have a much better sheath, I believe, with that nice Kydex with the lock and all those other things that we've looked at in the review. I'll put a link in the description below of the SE Laser Strike and the SE4 reviews, as well as this Tops Bob Fieldcraft knife above, to just kind of give you guys some options if you want to take a look at those as well. The Fieldcraft knife, I just want to throw in there. You can see they're very similar. They're the exact same thickness, exact same steel, exact same blade length. Very, very similar knives. You're just really, it's kind of pick or choose your poison, guys, at this point when you're talking about the Tops Bob Fieldcraft knife or the HOG 4.5. They're both going to be fantastic knives for you. They both have great ergonomics in the handle. I wouldn't say that the HOG has this mind-blowing ergonomics like we've already kind of talked about. It's very good, but the Bob has just about the exact same ergonomics, no hot spots, pretty thin handle construction, so it's going to feel very comfortable in your hand in multiple different types of grips. Again, the thickness, the 1095. I do like the Fieldcraft knife's sheath and fire steel options. I like this better than what the HOG offers you with the nylon, like we've talked about. Granted, that nylon sheath that the HOG has, it will be great for you military operators or you guys who are running and gunning a lot, just doing some crazy stuff, and you want to have a knife sheath that will really keep your knife secure with no worry about it losing your knife. The HOG has that type of sheath, but the Fieldcraft knife, for those of us who just like to hike and do a lot of camping and backpacking, this Kydex sheath is more than enough, and then it has that extra fire steel on top of it. So really, I can't say I like one necessarily more than the other. It really would be a coin toss which one I'm going to take out for the day, guys. Which one I would prefer. The HOG and the Bob Fieldcraft knife are both fantastic knives by Tops, and that HOG in particular, as we kind of wrap up this video, is a great knife. Right now, Tops is selling it for about $145 on their website because it is brand new to the market. I believe that in coming months, it'll probably be right around the same price as the Fieldcraft knife by Tops, right around $100, 110, just depending on what website you purchase it from. The HOG 4.5 should be great. It's a very competitive option to any SE and a lot of Tops other knives. And I think if you are looking for that kind of small, either bush knife or possibly a knife that can be used in a tactical situation or a survival situation, and you don't want to carry a lot of weight or size on your rig, I think the HOG 4.5 would be a fantastic option and well worth a purchase for you guys. So thanks so much for watching. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.